Just be smooth.
Welcome. What's up, y'all? Season 2 is up on us, and this is your first episode. It's your boy Bill McCleskey with TechDontSleep Podcast, and we got a great one for you to launch Season 2. What's up, Jessica Williams, better known as Jesso? That's how I know you. Should I call you Jesso or just Jessica?
What you say, Jesso? Jesso.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jesso, also known as Jessica Williams of Smart Girl Developments, and I'm here to tell you this is a mover shaker. We're going to talk to her about some things that she's doing literally all over the country. I mean, she's like West Coast born and raised, came down here making moves, and I'm talking about in the political scene, in the community, and most importantly in real estate development, making it happen and integrating technology to leverage and to propel her business. So we're excited to have this discussion. Now, first off, I just want to thank our sponsors. I just want to say what's up. Appreciate y'all for sponsoring the podcast and the events that we have coming up. So a big shout out to NEC, Universe Blue, voice over IP service for businesses, and AirCall as well, coming up for Q2, sponsoring our Q2. And then we got Your Six as well. So your6.com as a sponsor. That is your cloud surveillance and security company. So if you have any questions about those providers or sponsors, reach out to us at MitechPartners.com. Now, Jesso.
What's cracking?
I just got it. Can I tell the story about how we met, though?
Are you going to tell the story about how you fired me? Just kidding.
Jessica, hey, I got to tell the story, though. Okay, just so people understand, like, our background, when we started joking, and we got a lot of inside jokes, maybe. So I was working at this small IT firm back in the day. Mm-hmm. This was probably, 10, 11 years ago?
Yeah, it had to be 10 or 11. Probably maybe even 12.
Okay.
I think I was like 22 or 23.
Okay. So how old are you now?
34, about to be 35.
Oh, wow.
August 19.
All right, big time. No, so I was working at this IT firm, and I needed to hire somebody to make calls. I hired Jessica. She came on board. I don't think I ever told you this. I wasn't even going to hire you.
You wasn't?
No, but you know what happened?
Why?
Because, see, I interviewed some other people, and I thought maybe they're better for this position. And in the interview, you know what you said that made me hire you? You were like, okay, I'm ready to get started. What do I need to do next to get started? I was like, dang, she closed me.
I said?
Yeah, you said something like that, like, okay, I'm ready to get going.
Okay.
So anyway, you were making calls and stuff. And then, did I fire you or did you quit?
No, you definitely fired me.
Why did I fire you?
Well, I didn't make calls well enough. I didn't know how to close the people out. I would get nervous. I would call them up and let it ring 2 times and be like, well, they didn't answer. Guess I'll get to the next one.
The lesson, folks, when you make a call.
But I wish I would have learned that lesson in that time period, though, because you are an excellent closer and a person that can communicate well with the people that you're trying to do business with. And so I wish I would have overcome that anxiety at that time to make those calls and cold calls.
Because it paid off today in your business now.
The dividends would have been astronomical.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, Jessica, because a lot of times you go through life, you have these experiences in life, and you may think, oh, this is hard, this is uncomfortable, especially when you're young, but really it's preparing you for something 10 years down the road. You didn't know, like 12 years later, that skill would have come in handy for your business today. Ain't that crazy?
Correct.
Especially knowing me, right?
Yes.
What's cool, though, is that apparently after I fired you, we remained in touch, and we remained friends. But we both went to Fisk University, so I guess we had some connection there. And then you're all about, being in town. But at what point did you get into real estate, though? Because you weren't in real estate then, right?
I was always in real estate. So as soon as I graduated, when I was at Fisk University, I knew that I didn't want to work for anyone. So I was trying to decide what I wanted to do once I graduated. So I was like, I want to do estate.
Now, let me back up. Where did this idea come from that you didn't want to work for anybody?
I think because my dad owns his own business, and so I got to always sit with him and, work with him in the garage and package up boxes, and I saw his freedom and how he moved with his kids. And so I always wanted to be flexible with my family whenever I was to have one and deliver that flexibility. So when I originally wanted to be a doctor, but my professor told me that I had too much energy to be a doctor, so I needed to take the summertime out to figure out what I wanted to do. I'm going to say which one and what. Just kidding. I love you. You know who you are. But anyway, so I took this.
No, never mind.
Okay, but I ain't say, but no, I'm joking. But yeah, I took the summertime out. I was really sad about it because I really wanted to be a doctor.
Wow.
And I was like, well, let me just think about what I should do. And I was like, well, my dad owns his own business, so I'll go into business management. And so when I was in those classes, I fell in love with business finance and seeing how the money moved with Dr. Cabonario was very exciting. And Dr. Cargill and Mr. Montoine were like my motivating factors.
These are professors at Fisk
These
University.
are professors at Fisk University that inspire me to, want to take the business world. So I knew, didn't want to work for anybody. So I tried to figure out what I was going to do. I said, I'll get my real estate license. So as soon as I graduated Fisk, in 2009, the next day I started a real estate class.
Wow. Okay. Did you pass the test on the first time?
You know I didn't. Did I pass it on the second time? No, I got it on the third time.
Okay, a third time's a charm.
And I always tell those who are interested in getting in real estate too, you're going to need to read the books. You can't skim through it and hope it's going to all shake out. So
how long was the class though?
It's only 2 weeks.
So the class 2 weeks, and then you take a test.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got you. And it took you 3 times. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, you got it done.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you had your real estate license back then. So did you start selling real estate right away, or what was your kind of how'd you get traction in the industry?
So my dad thought I was crazy for going into real estate because it was 2009. Every market crashed. He lost a lot of money. The whole nation lost so much money. So, but I don't know. Something told me, like, I want to do real estate. And I saw what it did for my dad. So my dad is retired now, but he had bought real estate to house his his supplies. So instead of housing them in warehouses, he would put them in houses. He bought all the houses that next door to him. So when one came available, he bought it. Another one came available, he bought it, and he stored them there. But then when that business went out of business in 2010, then he started to put tenants in there one by one by one. So then that gave him his cash flow. And now they cash flow very well, and his portfolio is extremely high. So I just saw, hey, how can I help people get into homes? And that's all I ever wanted to do. So I just wanted people to...
So you saw it from kind of an investment perspective versus just being a real estate agent selling homes always, right? Yeah. So what was your first deal, though? Like, you remember?
Yeah, I actually had a flashback that came up the other day. It was this lady, and it was a referral through the real estate brokerage I was working for at the time. And I don't really remember much about it. They bought it in East Nashville. I do remember that. But that was about all I remember. She was the first one. I was the second one. And then my brother was the third. I do remember those 3 transactions.
Yeah. Your brother lives here?
Mm-hmm. Well, he just
he was a police officer, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, cool. But from what I know, so your family, though, is in real estate, too, though. Like, don't you have family members in real estate? Or did this happen after you got in real estate? You started the trend?
I started, So my dad is the only one who had the real estate.
Yeah.
So I just saw what that did for him. And then...
Because I know you got a cousin out in California.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
My cousin Rodney. He's in real estate. Anybody looking to buy or sell a house?
In California.
He's in San Diego. Yeah. He works San Diego and LA. Yes.
Okay. Got you. All right. So I know that, like, so once you got in real estate, you started kind of your angle was real estate investment and trying to help other people become real estate investors, right?
Yes, I think the thing that really has probably got me sparked up is when I worked for this company where I traveled across the nation, and I would work in apartment complexes that experience excess vacancies, and I had to go in there and help them get their vacancies up. And every time I would talk to the different people, they would told me that they foreclosed on their homes and then they were coming to rent an apartment complex here. But then when I looked at what their mortgage payments were on the property that they foreclosed on and what the rent price was of the apartment complexes, it was always significantly higher.
The rent was higher?
Yes.
Wow.
So I was always wanting to understand that perspective of like, wow. I mean, even though the house was, and when I asked them what was the main reason that they foreclosed on the home, it wasn't because they couldn't afford to pay for it. It was because the house was worth less than what they paid for it. So therefore, they felt like they were in a bad deal, so they got rid of the property. So, but then of course, a lot of those houses have bounced all back up to skyrocket past whatever they would have paid for initially. So that's like the trend I kept seeing over and over and over again. So I wanted to see how can I, and then on the other hand, I'm working hand in hand with the investors of those apartment complexes. So I'm looking at all their numbers coming in from the investment standpoint. And I'm like, I want to put my people, anybody I come across, to put them in a position to win. And that's kind of the approach that I've always taken.
So you wanted to help people either understand the numbers, the industry, or just become investors, basically, right? Because what the first company that you started, was it InvestSmart Today? Or did you start something before that?
The first company I started was called Nip Consulting. It was nip vacancies in the bud. So I wanted to do what exactly I did for the company that I worked for. But it was hard to get apartment contracts to allow me to come in and take over their leasing like my other company did. So then I switched it around to be called Nashville's Apartment Mobile. So then I would do a deal with the apartments where they would pay me a referral fee. So I was able to do that. But even though I secured like 15 contracts with apartment complexes, my real estate brokerage never supported that idea. So they didn't understand what I was doing.
You were at another real estate brokerage
at this time.
But you had these contracts with apartment complexes. So you're a hustler for sure.
Yes, I remember one time I wrote down all of the rental properties in the MLS, and I only focused on the vacant ones. And then I would just like rent them all out. So I would pick an area. It's like, okay, these are in Antioch. I got 10, houses over here that are vacant. Let me lease all of these up. So I would just lease. But
what would you do? Call the owner and fill them up? Fill the vacancy or what?
So I would just market myself as a person that had rentals. Yeah. So then those rental people would call me in that area that were looking, and then I would show them all the units.
Oh, wow.
And then I was able to make money and they didn't pay much, maybe like $250 per the lease, but it was something that my company didn't think about. But so one day, I probably made like $2,000 in a day because each person rented it, and then they put their applications in.
Wow.
And then I was like, well, then I can convert my renters into homeowners. And then that's what I would do.
So that was your pipeline to have business. Did that work?
It did work. Okay. But I got a lot of backlash from the brokerage because they didn't understand. They wanted me to invest my time in selling houses.
Selling houses now, not for the future.
Correct.
Yeah, got you.
And this whole investing thing was like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you you need to be out here in the Brentwoods and the this and that. Like, and I've always like, well, I just kind of like my momentum. I was always wanting to just be in my own zone.
Yeah. March to the beat of a different drummer, basically. So what happened, like, with that brokerage? Like, did you guys eventually part ways?
Oh, no, they fired me.
I see a trend here. They were like, you know what? Take that apartment mobile thing on somewhere.
I didn't accept the lead. So they had a structure. So they wanted, because when you supply the leads, then their splits are higher. So I didn't want to take leads because I felt like if I took the leads, then I don't know how to get the business. So I wanted to learn the business, not learn how to close whatever this deal was.
So they fired you because you didn't accept the leads that they were producing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's always like, InvestSmart Today. And they're like, what is this? You need to be promoting this. I'm like, okay.
Well, they got their own little system, you know what I mean? And if you're not adopting their system, then
it makes sense.
Yeah, you need to go do your own thing. So is it at that point, did you just go out on your own or what?
Yes,
because you have to become a broker, right?
So I already got my broker license 3 years after I got a real estate license. So in 2012, I had a broker's license. I always wanted to do my own real estate company, and I was just nervous to push the go button. Yeah. I'm like, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And so when they finally did it, it just made sense to go ahead and pull get the brokerage set up. Yeah.
Hey, I just thought about something. Do you see these shows on TV, like these reality shows about real estate agents, like the one in Florida? And do you watch them?
I watch them when I get my hair done. Yeah. We got through the episode. Yep, I will watch them. Yeah. The only when I'm getting my hair done.
Are they realistic?
No. I'm like, if they don't, just kidding.
No, I just wonder, because everybody always looks good. They dress to the nines, you know what I mean? They go into parties. It looks so fun, you know what I mean? And then they got a little drama in there. So I just wonder, like, how realistic is it? Or are they not showing the real grind of making the calls and following up and all that type of stuff?
No, they're definitely not. And I do feel like they position the art of the real estate in not the greatest light. It's a craft to the real estate game. And it's, and when you know your business, is it cool to see the strategizing side of what it takes to get the people to the closing table or get your investors moving. I do like the one selling Manhattan, I think. I don't know, somewhere. I was watching one the other
Selling
week.
Manhattan.
On the beach,
There's
whichever one on the
Malibu.
beach.
I think it's not Malibu. It's somewhere in Florida though. Or
It's
in
up
California?
in Boston area.
Oh, okay.
But I like how the developer is asking the agent, why should I let you, list all my development properties? Like, what does that look like? If she had things, show up to the table with why you should be able to allow me to list these properties. And I feel like that's what the art of the game is about. It shows the relationships, what it takes to get these deals done. What does it take to finance these deals? So.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because a lot of shows may be unrealistic, but some, I guess you're saying you could get an education from by understanding just the conversation and the engagement of what's going on. All right, so you start this like Invest Smart today. Your goal is to help people become investors and maximize like real estate, build wealth, and so what happens with Invest Smart today, and how do we get to where we are today with Smart Girl Developments?
So with Invest Smart today, I literally would align a game plan for my clients to get from one house to the another to the third. And I did a lot of pushing to be, come on, we can do it. So I got excited when I could see that the clients were growing significantly in their wealth. And so I went to this conference, a real estate conference, National Association of Realtors, and I couldn't afford to stay for all of the days that you would go for the conference. So I planned to just fly in and maybe stay for 2 days and fly out. So I happened to get there and catch this class called Smart Growth Development for the 21st Century. And I sat in on the class. It was literally only like 15 people in this class, and that lasted for like 5 or 6 hours. And in that class, you learned about development. This is where the nation is going in our urban cores. You want to work with your stakeholders, which are the residents, the politics, the funding, people who are private funding the deals, or the banks. So you kind of take all the stakeholders together and you help design how your city is going to progress. And that's with transportation, education, home ownership, affordability, making it equal for all to live here, showing that the city isn't just for one group or another, how to make everything inclusive. And so I walked out of that class with an excitement about development. And I said, well, all right, I want to be able to create affordable housing. And that was like my start in the development direction.
Yeah. So give us clarity on the difference between being an investor and being a developer.
So people often think that the developer is the guy that does the whole picture. So if you see, a project happening and they're like, who's a developer on it? You might think that person has bought the land, developed the land, paying for everything in the land, and then selling it all out. But the development process is so many different pieces in the spectrum. So you have pre-development work, you have someone who might have the vision to see a property and then begin to want to put those pieces together, working with your engineers, your planning departments, your architects to kind of design the layout. Then you might have a developer that says, all right, well, I actually want to build whatever it is that I develop. So maybe they're have a contractor's license and they want to develop, they now want to, contract that. Maybe they have the funds or maybe they don't. So maybe that developer still has to fundraise all of the money in order to get them off the ground. So a lot of times people feel that the developer has all the money that's getting it all done. But a lot of times, most times they're all being fundraised by multiple people in order to get the development done.
But developer, 9 times out of 10 is the person that has the vision.
Not necessarily, because the guy that has the vision could put everything together and then they hand it to another developer and that developer has all of the tools from the contractors to the project managers to all of that to bring it up out of the ground. Or you have a site developer, a guy that can come in and just get the dirt ready. So he might be laying sidewalks, pipes, sewer lines, all of that. That person's just developing the site plan. So it's just so many different...
Yeah, it's a lot of layers and to understand like how everything works, right? The logistics of all of that, project management, So talk to us too about... tech-enabled homes, like or tech neighborhoods or whatever. I read this article recently about how Bill Gates is creating this either city or community in Arizona where it's going to be a smart city, with all this technology and beacons and all this stuff. And so I just wonder, like, where you think that's going, what's around the corner, and what have you seen or heard about?
So I definitely believe tech should be implemented in all of your homes if you can get them in there. Just from the way you've seen it with the locks coming in and out, like I have something called Lockly. Smart lock, it opens it up with my finger, my fingerprint, so it'll automatically open my door up. Then you have from your lights to your stoves to the refrigerators. You can
alarm security, watch
the TV on the refrigerator while you're, maneuvering through your house. The garage door openers. So I definitely believe the smart homes is going to be the way of the future, but you really don't see a lot of homes implementing the smart technology. No.
Why is that?
I'm going to just have to say it's going to be cost. I think the builder is just wanting to minimize cost as much as possible. So when they're making their selections on what to go in on that house, they're like, no, regular doorbell. We're not putting that in there.
And all,
they just basic it down. So, but a lot of if you watch the real estate shows, a lot of the people will talk about, if I'm going to pay $20 million for a house, I want my house to be completely,
a heated driveway, you want all this stuff.
Now, if anything, where I do believe you'll see a lot more tech utilized that is in the art of selling real estate, for sure. So I think, I've always kind of felt like they'll take over the natural way of buying and selling property.
Absolutely. Well, talk to us about that, too, because now there's the wave of these companies who they're buying homes quick, sight unseen, and all this type of stuff. And because I had a buddy of mine who's a fellow entrepreneur, and her husband, they sold their house to one of these companies. I think that's based in like Texas or California. They ain't seen the house. I think somebody did show up. They made them an amazing offer, cash, closed on it quick. In 30 days, they had the money. And I'm assuming that company is going to turn around and resell the house at a profit. But talk to us about how those companies are doing it and the technology they're using to be able to, logistically make that work.
So definitely they're in the marketplace very strong. So they have been able to kind of keep their systems all within a phone reach, really. Yeah. I've had people sign documents and you done sold your house in 2.5 seconds and didn't realize that you did, how quickly that can happen. So they definitely streamline that process. What I have noticed, though, is when they are buying them quickly, they're usually getting their money back out of it in the inspections of the home. So they may say, hey, well, I'll buy your house for $300,000, but I need $20,000 of repairs at the closing table because to get the house in order. And maybe they take the $20,000, but they didn't put no $20,000 in the house when they put it back on the market. They probably did a little smiths. Little razzle dazzle real quick, have whatever, and put it on the market, and then it sits there. So you will see that those companies that buy people's houses quick, when they relist the homes, they're sitting for quite some time.
Because the price is high, or because they're trying to make a profit.
They're trying to recoup. But so what you see is they end up selling very close to what they bought the people's house for in the first place. So my theory is they definitely make their money in the sale of it on the front end, and not necessarily as much on the back end.
Wow, yeah, that's gotta make sense, because I was like, my buddy's house, they offered them over $700,000.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, well, how they gonna resell that? And they gonna resell it for $720? I'm just trying to figure out like how they making money. But no, that's crazy, because those companies are like, some of them have raised a lot of money, got a lot of like investment funds to do what they're doing, and they gotta have that to make the purchases.
Right.
Do you think that's where it's going though? Do you think like at some point everybody's gonna be on their phone, like selling their home or doing deals?
Most definitely.
And not,
I'm doing a deal right now, and they're like, no, we got this on our own. It's not, when you see how much money was left on the table, really not a good thing. Because it's a good thing for the buyers. I mean, for the investors, that's who's going to be winning.
Because they're getting a better deal.
They're getting a much better deal. You're not knowledgeable about what's going on. So no,
but for the seller, they may think, I don't have to pay the real estate agent a commission. So they, in their mind, they think they may be saving money, cutting out the middle person. But in reality, you may be missing some stuff.
Yeah, I've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars. I remember this one guy, he was really happy that he got $1 million for his land. And the guy, you know, they let him put it under contract. He bought the land for like 15,000 years ago. Now it's about $1 million. And I'm like, oh my God, sir. Like, I knew immediately that property was worth about $3 million because you allowed the person to rezone it. So not only they didn't close immediately for $1 million, you let them put it under contract for a year to then go take the time to get it developed. Yeah, get all the political work and actions and bills in place to make the property worth more. And then you didn't receive that money. So I think it'd be great to see more home landowners work with developers in the partnership, and that's where Smart Girl Development comes in at. Is to be able to make the collaboration between landowners and developers and investors to collaborate and bring these developments out of the ground.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. That's a great concept. Now, I know Smart Girl Developments has ABCD, right? Should we talk about that?
Yeah.
So ABCD stands for what? You
let me just tell you, they helped me figure it out because I got it all in my brain, and they're like, I got something for you to streamline your process here, and so thank you all and your team for helping me get to ABCD. So anyway, ABC is acquisition. Oh shoot,
where's it? Acquire, acquisition.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, acquire, build, consult, develop.
Yeah.
So they can choose between those 4 different things. Sometimes you need all 4 of them. So someone that may just want their land to be acquisition, then we can go ahead and purchase it. If someone wants to build, they already own the land, and maybe they have the funds, but they don't know the right builder or plans, then we can help them with their builds and their plans. If someone, wants to do it all on their own, but just doesn't know, then we can consult them on their process, or we can consult different investors if they have deals that they're trying to see if they're valuable or not. I definitely have people tie up deals that they've overpaid significantly for. So it would be better sometimes to take the loss on the money now than to go through construction and it's a bad deal. So being able to consult people on their, projects and then develop. So we can partner with the homeowners or the team to develop out their property if they already own the land.
Yeah. So, ABCD.
Yes. ABCD.
Oh, we got it down. Acquire, build, consult, develop. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I love it. And you can't forget that. The acronyms stick with you. So listen, tell people how they can get in touch with you if they want to acquire, build, consult, or develop.
So hit up Smart Girl Developments on my IG page. I've really been utilizing that to connect with the city.
Yes. And TikTok.
In my TikTok.
Like for real. Your TikTok, is it Smart Girl Developments on TikTok?
Well, I have 2 of them, but the personal one is Jessica Williams.
No. I'm talking about the one where you're showing all the property and you're going through the phases and stuff like that.
I should really streamline it and put it on one because I be bouncing them from one to another.
Y'all got to check her out on TikTok because you're on TikTok about 17 times a day, okay, at a property. But I think it's cool because you're showing like these different projects in different phases and all that type of stuff. So it's pretty cool. And one last thing that I want to actually touch on and kind of bring out is that, you're heavily involved in the community too. So I think that really distinguishes you from, any other real estate brokerage or developer or whatever, because you're really big on connecting or building the relationships that are going to impact the community, right? So talk to us about that and like what's like your end goal in that respect.
So I definitely absolutely love, I've always been the girl when I would drive around the block trying to understand why is there a light here? Why is there a sidewalk here? I'm very inquisitive. And when I did my development project, I had to work with the council, my community, just the planning departments in order to figure out what was going to happen here. And you see all the political action that's involved with your day-to-day life. And so when I started to learn about smart growth development, which there's 10 principles to that, one of their main things is definitely connecting with the policy makers, the people who are responsible for our decisions. And then when you realize like, oh no, but we're the community and the community helps to highly influence those decisions that are made. I wanted to know what those positions are and what does that look like. So every time that there's a race happening, so right now there's a big judge race that you vote on May the 3rd, and just to learn all of those candidates that are there, who their opponents are, is a great opportunity to sit at the table and see that action. And then I always try to get everyone to come with me to the events. Are you gonna come to this event with me? And a lot of people think they're boring, and they're not boring to me. I really, really love
But you meet some cool people at these events too.
Yes.
Some really cool people.
Some really good people.
Mm-hmm.
And they share with you, they want to see you there. They want to hear what you want for your community. And I always say, you can't develop a community if we don't develop the people. And you yourself gets better developed when you're connecting and understanding how your community is moving, and then what place that you can play in to get the things that you want in your city. So for Nashville, I would love to see their waterways be developed out. We have a great water landscapes, rivers, I would like that to be more connective to everyone in Nashville, and not just the sailors who have their boats and can go out on the water. Yeah. But making more connectivity is very important.
I love that, because it is about the community and the policymakers, and a lot of people don't see the impact of that. But that's how we get landfills in certain neighborhoods and all this type of stuff that happens. So it's really key. Just so.
What's cracking?
Appreciate you for coming through and having an amazing conversation. Y'all check her out on IG, on TikTok. I know we'll have the website up soon, smartgirldevelopments.com. And if you're not following Tech Don't Sleep online, make sure you do that on YouTube. Hey, listen, you may be listening to this podcast on Spotify or any other podcast platform, but you should watch it on YouTube, because y'all got to see Jessica's outfit. You know what I'm saying? Mine stays the same. I'm the blue suit. I ain't going to change. But anyway, check us out. Subscribe on YouTube and on IG and all the other platforms. And make sure that you plug into our events. All right? Check out MitechPartners.com for the next upcoming event. The next one we got coming is March 17th. Mignon Francois.
Ooh, the cupcake collection.
The cupcake collection.
Hey,
yeah, she's going to be our featured speaker, so we're going to do a fireside chat with her. It's going to be real cool. I know she's going to drop some awesome nuggets and tell her story to a room full of business owners and entrepreneurs. So it'll be a great opportunity to network. And again, we appreciate our sponsors, Your6.com, NEC Universal Blue, and coming up for Q2 Air Call. We appreciate y'all. Holla. Peace.
Can't stop till I won't stop till I can't stop till I won't stop till I can't stop till I won't stop till I ain't no Chico, just be smooth.